All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And I have been MIA because I was on vacation with my wife and we went to California. And man alive, that's a whole story by itself because California has turned into a complete shithole. I've been vacationing there for 10 years, and it is sad to see what the government has done to that state. There's nowhere that's really safe to go anymore. And we have been pushed out of the main part of Southern California, and the only way to vacation and feel safe is to go to Coronado Island. All along the highway, nothing but encampments of homeless people everywhere. They just do not know how to get a handle on that state. But I digress. That's where I've been, and then I got home, and I just got done finishing my gaming PC yesterday, which was a big project. The only thing that's missing out of that PC now is the video card, which I will get here in a couple of weeks. But that computer will run off of the 7800 X3D Ryzen 7 chip that does have graphics built in, which is nice because I can get it set up and get everything loaded prior to getting that video card. All right, so I woke up today to a very entertaining video by Our Movie News, and I'm not going to get into the habit of calling out other channels, and I'm not really calling him out, okay? I love his content, and I love how positive he is about the DCU. I really do. I am not knocking him in any way, shape, or form. I really appreciate what he does. I like his content, and for people who aren't following him, they should follow him. He gives a little sliver of hope for the future, but I don't have any. And this is coming from 40 years of backstabbing by the studio. And I'm going to make this video very clear as to why I don't trust Warner Brothers and why I don't trust James Gunn. He had a whole video just defending Gunn on a situation where somebody misspoke somewhere about Henry Cavill getting booted because James Gunn came in. Now, first of all, Warner Brothers themselves, it's ridiculous because I have seen them screw up DC properties for the last 40 years. They did it with Superman 2. That's when this began, was with Superman 2. There's a whole documentary on YouTube about what happened and how they pushed Richard Donner out after making an amazing Superman film. That first Superman film is a definitive Superman film. And he was going to follow it up, but the studio backstabbed him, thought they knew what was best, pushed him out, and brought in Lauren Lester to come in and change everything. And as I became an adult, I learned about a lot of these things, and seeing what they did to Zack Snyder, what they did to David Ayer, and what they continue to do with DC properties, I am a disgusted fan. And I don't think that the studio cares about people like me, and they don't care about the lifelong DC fans. They just don't. I go back to telling people that they are chasing an audience that doesn't exist yet. And I'm going to show you some things that are really irritating, and where this comes off and where it really was the breaking point for me was with Black Adam. The studio definitely had Henry Cavill come out and announce he was back. He made the rounds. He did that big social media post. We all saw it. It was there. And even in his departure after meeting with Gunn, he did say that the studio told him to announce he was back. And they did that knowing they weren't going to continue with Henry Cavill. They did it without a contract, and they screwed him over, and they screwed the fans over, and they did it to sell tickets to Black Adam. It was straight up deception. And it just was. And that was my breaking point where I said, I've had it with this company. And then you see what they did with The Flash and what they did with Shazam 2 and Blue Beetle, and they changed everything and turned them into generic comedies, changed it, took out scenes because they didn't want to tease something that wasn't going to happen in the future. James Gunn came out, and when he took over, he talked about the DC being this grand, multiverse, and how The Flash was going to open up that multiverse. But yet you have Superman and Lois being canceled because Gunn doesn't want his stuff to compete with another Superman. If you noticed, everything around DC, all these shows that were going on are now gone. And I'm not just talking about the CW, I'm also talking about on Max itself. He doesn't want to have to compete with anybody. If you're going to have this multiverse, use it. Use it. Make everybody happy. Put out as much content as you can and show the diversity of the DC universe. But no, this all has to be about Gunn. And when Gunn was hired, he was hired as the co-CEO. And now he's out there saying he was always meant to be the creative behind this, which could be true. And that's all fine and dandy. But he's even come out and announced he's going to be writing and directing more stuff in the future. And I'm going to show you why I think he is the wrong person for this and why I cannot get on board. I will tell you if Superman is a good movie or not. I go into every movie with a blank slate and I go in and make my own assessment. But he has a massive uphill climb to make. And I don't think he can do it. And we're going to look at why today. We're going to look at words coming directly from James Gunn's mouth himself. So the first thing I wanted to show you here today was this was, about a year and a half ago. It says a new Superman film with Henry Cavill's in the very early stages. And it was. And then they decided to go with James Gunn's plan instead. And I think the studio knew this all along, and they were doing this just to sell tickets. That's all it was. It was a ploy to sell tickets. Okay? Now, I'm going to remind everybody what James Gunn himself said. These are his own words. This is out of his own mouth. So this is not a lie. This is not a rumor. This is not something I've made up and I'm passing around. This is from February 18th of 2022. Now, he was in an interview and somebody asked, you have an interesting relationship to comic book material. You take a piss out of it every chance you get, but at the same time, you seem to genuinely adore it. He said, that's true. The next question was, how do you ride that line without going too far in one direction or the other? And this is the part, and after I read this, I'm going to show you how he has never respected DC properties. He said, I love superheroes. I also think they're the dumbest thing that have ever existed. I have no happier times in my life than lying in my bed when I was 12 and reading comic books. I don't think life got much better than that. And yet the fact that we take these things seriously as adults is ridiculous. Because people really would look at you like they look at Peacemaker when he walks into Fennel Fields wearing a costume. What's wrong with you? You think that's cool? You're a maniac. The idea that superheroes are maniacs is something I like very much. Guardians is much different because it's really a science fiction story, a science fantasy story. They're not superheroes. They're not wearing masks, which is one of the reasons I think I had an easier time working my way into it. But in the Suicide Squad, you got guys wearing yellow costumes and all this stuff. I decided to go for what it would really be like. Treating these people like gods is like, what? I had a hard time imagining a guy who's really serious and wants revenge making a costume for himself and putting black around his eyes so his skin doesn't show when you look at him in the face. He's got the mask on and also the eye makeup under it. There's a silliness to it that I can't deny. Not because it's making fun, but because it seems to me that the silliness is what is real. This is how he sees superheroes. And I believe he's talking about Batman when he talks about putting a mask on and putting black around your eyes. This came from James Gunn himself, an interview. So I'm not twisting his words. I'm not making it something out that it's not to be. And I'm going to show you, we're going to look at why he's wrong for DC. Everything he's done for DC has been ridiculous. You look at the Suicide Squad, okay? Ridiculous. It was juvenile, had disgusting humor in it. It was horrible. Horrible. I cannot stand that movie. I've watched it twice. I actually own it, which I will probably never watch it again. And the first time I was like, all right, it's okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But the second time I saw it, yeah, I cannot believe the garbage that he jammed into that movie. It was juvenile, disgusting humor for the lowest common denominator. That's what that movie was made for. He did not take it seriously. And then you had Peacemaker, okay, the actual show. And look at how he took the Justice League at the very end of that show. He turned them into a joke. You've got Barry and Aquaman talking about screwing fish. You've got John Cena walking by him as Peacemaker, telling them to screw off. You don't get to see Superman at all. He's in the shadows. The whole thing was a joke. He does not take these superheroes seriously. This is a guy who is now in charge of the entire DC universe. And you think there's something positive to look at? He has never done anything in his career that shows that he is up to the task. And people are going to keep pointing to Guardians of the Galaxy. You have to remember when that movie came out, it was the height of the comic book movies. You had Marvel behind it. You had Disney behind it. Anybody who made that movie was going to be popular at that stage. It's just a fact. And James Gunn, if you look at how silly those movies are, that's not how I want my superheroes to be taken. As a joke. He's admitted he doesn't see these characters as serious. People taking them seriously, like what you got with the DCEU, is what he doesn't agree with, which shows you that he's building this whole universe that's going to be silly. It's going to be for little kids. It's not going to be for those of us who are dying and who made Marvel popular, who made Disney popular with Iron Man, with Captain America. He doesn't want that audience. They're chasing an audience right now that does not exist. And so that's why I fear about Superman Legacy. I don't trust the studio, and Gunn has never done anything that shows that he is up to this task. He has to make the best superhero film that has ever been made. And if it's not, and it's silly and it's goofy and it has juvenile, disgusting humor, you're going to still have people backing up saying it's awesome. It's way better than what Zack Snyder did. You're going to have it. Or they're going to say Zack Snyder ruined everything. They're going to continue to say that. And none of this has to do with Zack Snyder. The DCEU was not Zack Snyder. But you know what? The DCU is all Gunn. It's all on him. He hasn't even shown us the suit. What is he waiting for? It's a Superman suit. If it's such a big departure, yeah, you're going to piss people off. So why not reveal the suit at this stage? There's no reason why he should be waiting. None whatsoever. Get us used to these characters. Get us used to the changes. Get us on board. But right now, we haven't seen anything. And I can only go based on what James Gunn has done in the past, and that does not bode well for the future. So no, I'm not going to praise this guy or saying he's doing a great job or have this rosy outlook for the future when there's nothing to prove that that is the case. All right, guys, those words came from James Gunn himself. It's how he sees characters. I would like him to come out and refute this and talk about how respectful he's going to be of Superman, because I don't believe it's going to happen. I would love to be proven wrong. I want to go into Superman and have it be the best Superman film ever made. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see how it can happen based on his history. All right, guys, so I will be back tomorrow with a regular DC video. There are plenty of things I've grabbed over the last 4 days that I need to share. And hopefully there's something big that comes out, because all of those things are kind of little things. And it's been very quiet with DC for the past week. So I do appreciate all the support. I'm always going to be genuine with you guys. I'm not going to blow smoke. I'm not going to make things out to be what they're not. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what my feelings are and exactly what's going on as I see it. And it's always going to be my commentary behind these things. And I'll continue to share these things. I do appreciate all the support, and we will see you guys on the next video.